This July 8th, 2019 meeting of the Caldwell County Board of Education is called to order. It's good to see this crowd of people with us this evening. So anyway, we're going to move on here. I know it's summertime and we don't have very large crowds in the summertime, and hope everybody's summer is going well. Next item is the invocation for the board, and I think we need to be concerned about our students that are out here and on the roads a little bit more during the summertime, and swimming and involving themselves in various activities. We've already had a student at High Brighton High School that had a very serious injury, and we're hoping that things develop in a very positive way there with him. And we just want to keep in mind that a lot of people are on vacation and traveling back and forth, so we want to keep those people in our thoughts and prayers as well. So if you will join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. Next, we have our Pledge of Allegiance, and tonight we have a rising senior from High Brighton High School, Natalie Brown. If you'll come forward and we'll stand and do our pledge.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for being here, Natalie. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. And the board's had opportunity to review the agenda. Do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda as has been presented?
Chairman Penland, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Yes, sir.
Second motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Next is the approval of the closed session and general account minutes, and that would be from both May the 6th and May 13th of this year. And once again, you've had a chance to review that. Do I hear a motion that we approve both sets of closed session and general account minutes?
I'll make the motion we approve the closed session and general account minutes of May 6th and 13th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next is the approval of the special session and closed session general account minutes that took place on June the 3rd, 2019. Once again, do I hear a motion that we approve the special session and closed session minutes from June 3rd?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 3rd special session and closed session general account as presented.
In a second. Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next is the approval of the regular session and a closed session on June 10th. Do I hear a motion that we approve the regular session and the closed session general account minutes of June 10th?
Chairman Penland, I move that we approve both the regular session and the closed session minutes for June 10th, 2019.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next item on the agenda is announcements, and I will turn now to Mr. Joe Sims for those.
Okay, we just got a couple for right now since we're sort of in the slow time of the year for schools activities. But this coming weekend, we have the Blackberry Festival going on in downtown Lenore. That's July 11th through the 14th. And also to be the bearer of good news, the first day of school for the Early College High School and our newly named Caldwell Applied Sciences Academy is August the 8th.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Sims. Dr. Phipps, you have something.
I want to go back in time a little bit to last week, July the 3rd. We had the ribbon cutting for the Charters of Freedom display that's down in Lenore. All of our board members were able to be there, and I would encourage our folks in our community to go by and take a look. The thing that makes me, I think, the most proud as I think about what's there, the fact that our students were involved with the masonry students and the teachers from our 3 high schools being a part of that. The first time in the history of that type of a project in our country that school students were involved, and they did a wonderful job. But those will be there for a long time, hundreds of years, and we certainly encourage individuals to go down as they're able to and take a look at the fine work that our students did, but also to look at the actual documents and what they represent to our country. I would encourage you to do that. We have a couple of events going on. The July the 9th through the 11th, our Early College High School Summer Bridge Orientation Program will be going on for rising freshmen at the Early College High School. And then we have, not for the public, but I want the public to be aware that our teachers and administrators and others are involved in a classroom innovation and technology showcase where they will be receiving technology training. That'll be going on July the 16th and 17th. And then we have administrative leadership sessions that we'll be going through on July the 31st through the 1st. So what may seem like a slow time with very little happening in the public is a very busy time for us in terms of training and work that we have in place to get ready for next year.
Thank you, Dr. Phipps. Next is our honors session here. So I'll call on Libby Brown to come forward, her School Community Relations Director, and the board will move down and we will congratulate our recipient.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Branch, board members, and Dr. Phipps. It is always a pleasure to have this part of the Board of Education meeting, honors and recognition. And since our students are off this summer, we are going to recognize, we feel like one of our own, Regina Barrier. So Regina, if you want to come down, we have lots of good things to say about Regina Barrier. Regina was actually a science teacher at High Brighton High School, and she has advanced in her career to become the Science House, North Carolina State University Northwestern Outreach Director. And she was recently presented the Michael C. Jackson Distinguished Service Award for Outstanding Science Science Education Leadership in North Carolina by the North Carolina Science Leadership Association, sponsored by Fisher Science Education. So we know what the Science House does for us here in Caldwell County. We're fortunate enough to have them housed here, right here in our education center. And they help our teachers with the STEM research and with STEM grants and in helping them advance their platform in the classroom with STEM projects. We have a tie-in to this award, the Michael C. Jackson Award, and that may ring a bell to you. The Michael C. Jackson Distinguished Service Award is given annually to a person who has performed a great service to science education in North Carolina. This award was renamed in 2008 in honor of Michael C. Jackson, a founder of NCSLA, president of 3 North Carolina Science Associations, science teacher for 35 years, and an administrator right here in Caldwell County from 1994 to 1997, and he served as our curriculum consultant in math and in science. So it's wonderful how this has come full circle, and we are able to honor Regina Barrier right here in the Caldwell County school system with this distinguished award named from a person who served here in Caldwell County and did an excellent job. So congratulations to Regina Barrier and all her accomplishments in science. proud of her. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is public comment, and as of this afternoon, we had not received any public comments, so we will move on with the agenda, and that is to recognize Dr. Katrina McKellen, Educational Program Services, Assistant Superintendent.
Good evening, Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Branch, members of the Board of Education, and Dr. Phipps. This evening, I want to talk to you about the Alternative Schools Accountability Model. So each year, alternative schools have the option to use an alternative accountability model to determine their school performance grade. Requests have to be submitted annually to the State Board of Education, and we have to do this by August 1st. And we have three options to choose from for our alternative schools. So the first option would be for schools to follow the same accountability model that every other school in North Carolina, every other traditional school would follow. The second option is to follow what they deem as the alternative schools progressive model, which looks at student persistence, student achievement, and growth, with the heaviest impact being with growth of students. And the third option is to create or propose our own accountability model. So this year, Horizons Elementary School has chosen to go with the second option. So that's the progressive model, where 60% of their school performance grade would come from growth, 20% from student persistence, and 20% from student achievement. So what they're scoring on their end of grade tests in grades 3, 4, and 5. Gateway School, on the other hand, has, for the first time, we wanted to come up with their own accountability model, and so that was one of the items in your packet tonight. And you can see from that they have created a model that includes student persistence, safety, looking at the number of incidences and reportable offenses in their school. Achievement is based on EOG, or end of grade tests for 6, 7, and 8, end of course assessments, and CTE post assessments. Those are all the different types of assessments that our students take at Gateway School. Growth as determined by EVOS and also by STAR reading and math. And then recidivism, which is the number of students that come back to Gateway. So we want that number to be low. So we want to have our students return to our traditional high schools and not come back to Gateway School within a 12-month period. And within that scale, so if you total the 25, 25, 10, 30, and 10, you're going to get 100%. And with that, once we get that grade, they would like to use a 10-point scale similar to how we grade our students. So an A would be 90 to 100, an 80 to 89 would be a B. If we, just as a fact to go with that, if we use that accountability model with this past year, they would have received a B grade. So we feel like that it's a good model that we would like to put forth in front of you. It would then have to go to be approved by the State Board of Education. So that tonight we're approving this option at the local level, and then the State Board would have a chance to approve it in October at their October meeting. So I respectfully request your approval of option B for Horizons Elementary School and option C for Gateway School.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2019-2020 Alternative School Accountability Model, being option B for Horizons Elementary School and option C for Gateway School? Is there a motion to that effect?
I move that we approve the alternative accountability models as presented. Option B, the progress model for Horizons, and option C, the alternative model for Gateway.
I second that.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. McKellen. Next, we have Dr. Jeff Church, Associate Superintendent, Auxiliary Services.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Phipps, I have two items for your attention tonight. Item 7A is a list of our GovDeals surplus as for the 2018-19 school year. That is for your information only. We surplused approximately $10,300 worth of materials last year. I'll answer any questions that you may have. Okay. Item B is a 5-year service agreement with Sharon Sports. Sharon Sports, we use those for our bleacher inspections for multiple years, long-term contractor for us. They're offering a 5-year agreement. This is basically the cost that we paid this year, and we'll be locking in those costs for the next 5 years, so trying to conserve funds, save a little money. I respectfully request the approval of this multi-year agreement as presented.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 5-year service agreement plan to Sharon Sports as presented by Dr. Church?
Chairman Penland, I move that we approve the 5-year service agreement for Sharon Sports as has been presented by Dr. Church.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions?
I have a question. Do we have a suitable lift? Do we own a suitable lift?
Do we have a what?
Suitable lift. The lift.
The lift, suitable lift.
Do we own one?
Suitable as in, we own a lift.
Okay.
Yes,
So we're
we
gonna
do.
use our lift.
We do.
Okay.
Okay, now, is this just for gymnasiums?
Yes, this is our indoor bleachers and backstops.
I noticed
So
there's no
outdoor,
high-
I'm sorry, Joe.
No, go ahead, just finish.
Outdoor backstops too?
Yes,
Okay.
baseball
Okay.
backstops. High schools are probably not on here because we use Learning Environments, the vendor that installed the bleachers there. So they do not use, Sharon does not do
Okay.
those.
So every school has someone monitor, checking these every
Yes,
year?
we check indoor bleachers and exterior bleachers every year, annually.
Okay, so, and the backstops, I think you answered that. That's the pads at the end of the gymnasium and then the backstops
Behind home plate. Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Church. Next, Human Resource Services, Dr. Bill Griffin, Assistant Superintendent.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Branch, members of the board, Dr. Phipps, have several items here for your attention this evening. First, on Category 8, Human Resources, usual and customary, we have student transfers for July 2019 through July the 20th. As you see there, our total transfer requests to date are 39 for July. We have transfers recommended for board approval, 32. Transfers not recommended for board approval are 7, bringing our 1920 total to 1,672, with zeros transferred revoked and a total of transfer revoked at 1. I respectfully request approval of this item.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the student transfers for July 2019, 2020?
I move that we approve student transfers as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much. The second action item that I have for you is our Human Resources usual and customary action items. You have a copy of those items there in front of you. This time I respectfully request approval of such items.
Okay, do we have a motion for approving the Human Resource Services usual and customary action items as presented by Dr. Griffin?
Make a motion that we approve the Human Resources Service usual and customary action item contracts as presented.
Is there a second?
I
Second.
second the motion.
Comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Great, thank you very much. And the final category I have is Subject C, Human Resources usual and customary. Those are informational items, but you do have there in your packet those items for your knowledge. And if there's no questions about anything there.
No.
Great. Thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin. Appreciate it. Next item on our agenda is closed session. Do I hear a motion that the board goes into closed session at this point?
I move that we convene to closed session pursuant to the reasons that are listed on the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. So we are going into closed session. We don't have any action coming down, do we? We will have an item that we will vote on when we come back out. So we're going to go back into closed session, and we shouldn't be there too long. session. The board wishes to report that it has settled a student matter in the amount of $25,000 plus litigation cost. Next item is, having attended a workshop recently, I just want to mention a couple things. A county down in the eastern part of the state has started a program called Gentleman's Agreement, and they're hoping that it expands into other areas. They used a quote from Frederick Douglass. It says, "It's better to build a strong child than to repair a broken man." Being a male is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of age. But being a gentleman is a matter of choice. So, in that district, they are selecting students based on recommendations and based on potential for leadership. And these people are channeled into doing extra things in the community and going to meetings and being a part of, the community, and just showing what a young man can actually do as far as becoming a gentleman. And they're hopeful that it will expand, that it will go into other counties and other districts as well. Another session they talked about was maintaining confidentiality. Of course, the board's quite aware of that. Attorney-client information is always privileged. If one releases information that they shouldn't, then there's a possibility of liability there. Student records, of course, as we are all quite aware, are highly protected by not only state but also federal law, and could result in, if there's an improper disclosure, could result in a misdemeanor. But a lot of good information was had, but that's just a tidbit of that. The board is going back into closed session. There will not be any action afterwards. Do I hear a motion that we go into closed session to deal with personnel?
Make a motion that we go into closed session to deal with personnel.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And we will be in closed session again. Everybody have a great evening.